Now, streamers are some of the most closely followed and influential people in entertainment right now. And live streaming is one of the biggest ways to grow a fan base as a creator. But what's being done to them by some of their fans is horrendous. There's a trend that's been going on for the past 9 years where streamers will have SWAT teams sent to their home in the middle of the stream by their own fans. And there's two major problems with this. First, it has returned. And second, it's not just the big streamers and celebrities that are at risk. You are too, as there have been many instances of people just going about their day. Maybe they did a live stream recently, and then all of a sudden they are attacked and arrested by SWAT teams. But for more context on why this is so dangerous, swatting has been described as when a 12-year-old gamer gets angry because they're losing a game and then calls in a bomb squad that will send out a bomb notice to the police as a threat against the person that they're playing against. A SWAT team, hence the name swatting, then has to investigate the fake threat, which usually results in a bunch of police soldiers breaking down the doors of people's homes and then pointing guns, big guns, at the unsuspecting victim's head. Now, while it isn't always 12-year-olds and it isn't always people who are angry about losing a game, it has led to people and even animals getting hurt. Of course, if you have a dog and someone is trying to break into your house, as a SWAT team would, the dog's going to try to protect you and the SWAT team is going to see it as a hostile combatant. And you know what happens after that. But the 12-year-old stereotype is a good illustration of how it can be done by essentially anyone. And this is because of exactly how it is done. Now, yes, this mostly and prominently happens to people with large fan bases, streamers and celebrities like Ludwig and Amaran, but it has also been known to happen to celebrities like Justin Bieber and Rihanna. And unfortunately, and even more egregiously, it has happened to normal people just going about their day as well. That's not to say that celebrities shouldn't be treated like people and that doxing and swatting them is more fine. It's more understandable, especially when you have such a huge fan base and you definitely have a lot of haters. In 2020, an old man around the age of 60 was swatted by someone who wanted his Twitter handle. That sadly led to him passing away from a heart attack. And earlier this year, a Twitch streamer named Sup Caitlin, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, shared that her non-English speaking grandparents were also visited by police and raided by a SWAT team. Now, how are these people doing this? How are they getting away with this? Essentially, these people are able to find the exact location of the person that they want swatted. And to do this, they're taking into account a bunch of things. Now, first of all, if you are a streamer, it is possible that you've posted your address online in the past, or you showed too much information about your surroundings, the streets, the landmarks. And you have to understand that some people are self-taught stalkers and will eventually narrow your location down. There's a story of a guy who literally tracked a woman down because he could see where she was from the reflection in her pupils. And of course, while live streaming, it may just slip out. You might just mention your location to however many people you're streaming to right on the stream. And sometimes it doesn't happen on one stream, it doesn't happen in one post. It has happened over a long period of time, maybe over a couple of months, maybe over years. You've given a bit of information here, a bit of information there, you've answered this chat, you've answered this message, all of a sudden they have your exact location, or at least enough information to string it all together and find your exact location. One person on Reddit said, I bet simply Googling someone's name plus the word resume literally brings up their resume, which usually has their address. And so that would probably work some of the time. Or maybe pretending to know them on Facebook and friending them. They go on to say, in a past job, I had unrestricted access to a large database of people because I worked at the DMV, including addresses. And someone in a similar situation with no morals could definitely use this to get a ton of stuff and wreak some havoc. And from there, it can be relatively easy to find the address if they don't already have it. And honestly, that makes so much sense. That's why I always look twice when people are like, input location. I have my location turned off on my phone. And it used to happen back in the day that some large personalities such as Woody's Gamer Tag and KSI would list their addresses in order to get fan mail. Cute. Except that those were the early days of the internet and YouTube, relatively. And so swatters weren't very much of a problem. The issue though is that some of that information has stayed public, and in some places you might even try to move, but certain information is tied together and they're recording that move, and so eventually they can still find you again. Other times, in more serious cases, people literally have other people's IP addresses. And apparently it's relatively simple to get if you can get into a chat with them or something like that. If you're friends with them on Skype, for instance. And apparently from there, it's not hard to find their street address, and some people can even Google it and find some of these sites that can bring up people's location, longitude and latitude. I'm not saying this so that someone goes out there and like, because these things usually are like double-edged swords. Now that I've said this, someone might take them and be like, oh, I can do that. Yeah, don't do that. But the thing is that you, the viewer, also needs to learn how to protect yourselves. So I'm just acknowledging the fact that I know what sort of just happened. And as for calling the cops, especially if you live in a country where the police is actually working overtime, it's relatively easy to do. You just call them, tell them that something horrendous is happening somewhere. Someone is, I don't know, getting stabbed, getting shot, that type of thing. Someone is committing an act of domestic violence. Then you just hand them the address, and of course they will do their job. And some people have had it happen to them so many times, like with his game attack, that essentially police call him before they show up to actually make sure that something is happening, because they literally get a call about once or twice a month. And here are a couple of other reactions from people like Amarant and Ludwig about similar situations.
Generally, I'm pretty fine. The initial part is kind of scary, but then it's quickly overwhelmed with a annoying feeling.
I've been swatted so much at this point where the cops, they don't even have their guns out anymore. And I tell them, look at my stream too. If I'm online, that I'm not dead, right? And they're still obligated to come by.
How often are you getting swatted?
A few times a month, typically.
Now, why are they doing this? Why stalk and swat a creator that you like? Now, some people say it's just a prank, some people say that it's for fun. But honestly, those people need to touch grass, maybe check into rehab, because the amount of damage that has been done is nothing short of evil. Even if people weren't literally dying, think about the amount of anxiety they're causing these streamers, the amount of anxiety they're causing their families, their parents and children. And if it's not evil, it's just plain stupid. If you really wanted to do something fun to your favorite creator, your favorite streamer that you consider a prank, how about ordering a ton of pizzas to their house? Not saying do that, that also sounds like you need to go out and touch grass, but it's not calling the police on them. I mean, think about the effects of this. Some law enforcement officials have said that they are becoming increasingly irritated by the prank calls, which obviously divert resources from responding to actual crime. And I've seen comments talking about how this is a symptom of bad parenting and all that, and I completely agree. But I also do think that it is definitely a symptom of people exploiting the internet for its loopholes, and that is completely their fault, their responsibility. And it's also clearly happening in some cases that it's because the victims, us, the people, are not properly educated, or at least aren't taking our internet education very seriously, especially when it comes to protecting our location, our personal details, those sorts of things, from people who might want to exploit it, and that's extremely important. So here's how you avoid it. First step, don't reveal your name, don't reveal your address, don't reveal your public IP address, don't do any of that anywhere online. Empty out your bio. Nothing is for certain though. If someone really wanted to find you, they could. But usually the people who could find you, regardless of where you are and what you do and how safe you've been, those people are much too skilled and probably busy doing other things to care and to actually take the time to do it. What do they get for the minor inconvenience of getting you swatted? Probably nothing. And so if someone threatens to swat you in a live stream and you have been as safe as possible, usually it's an empty threat. You should just ban them, block them, and ignore. And I've heard that some of the biggest streamers have let their police departments know about this and let them know that they are streamers and essentially that this is a possibility, something that will happen, so that if something comes up, they can properly communicate and just spare everyone the stress of having resources wasted. How efficient this is a different story, because, you know, the police still need to do their jobs, and sometimes checking all that chain of, you know, is this person, you know, I mean, if it is, then it's on their head. So, and especially for my fellow creators, just please be careful with the way you interact with the real world as you go about trying to create stuff for your digital community, your digital world. I mean, just look at a situation like this.
Streamer calls for help and cops arrive.
How's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Are you on YouTube right now?
I'm streaming right now.
You're streaming right now?
Yeah.
Did you scream help at some point?
Oh my God! Help! Maybe yes. Maybe? For content. Yeah. Okay. Holy guys, you guys scared the shit out of me. They're right here.
Hi guys. Hi,
holy hell.
Yeah, if you scream for help online, you got an open window.
Yeah,
we'll come.
Sorry about that, guys. Jesus. Did someone call? I'm assuming.
I'm not sure if that's staged or not, but it doesn't look staged, and so it feels very awkward. At least the police were nice and everything. You could tell that they're probably just outside, so yeah. And if you would like to be nice to me because you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and subscribe, and if you want to, you can also leave a donation using the super thanks button right down below. I'm Oseremen, this is Cards and Reels, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.